From LALATE News headquarters in Santa Monica, this is Mornings LALATE.
Saturday morning, and Mornings LA continues as millions of Americans across the country, from the East Coast to the West Coast, received their electronic deposit of their $1,400 third stimulus check on Friday. More are receiving it today, and you could be on Monday as well. I'll have more about these breaking developments, which I broke earlier this morning. Meantime, what's happening for reoccurring stimulus checks? Across the country, the push is underway for reoccurring fourth stimulus package checks. I'll have all those details and more. I'll have a news conference from the President of the United States released overnight talking about your third stimulus package. And I'll have new video from Elizabeth Warren that talks about SSI and SSDI and more. As the push is underway for FPUC, hazard pay, child care tax credit nationally every year, and also a lot other items. I have all the breaking details from the West Coast to the East Coast. The excitement starts right now as Mornings LA continues. The toast is toasting, the butter is buttering. Let's get to it as Mornings LA continues, starting right now. A $1,400 third stimulus check will be received by you electronically as early as today, yesterday, or this coming Monday. In this recording, I touch back on what happened this morning on Mornings LA. When I first broke the details that countless viewers this channel received their $14 stimulus check on Friday, more received it today, and more receive it on Monday. Moreover, who will not receive it, we now know those are some big bank customers. I have all the breaking details right now, but first, make sure you subscribe in this video. This is the most comprehensive, most complete, and most around-the-clock breaking news you can get. Also like this video, and if you're not become a member, consider becoming a member. The day started with the breaking news that several of the big banks, which I'm not going to name on air, were on Twitter trending because they said they are not releasing electronic receipts of your third stimulus check of $1,400 to March 17th. You may already know who they are, and I've certainly seen in some of the comments, some of the videos, some of the viewers also know who these big banks are. We don't particularly know why this is happening, but again, this is one of the most important things I've expressed to viewers, that ultimately, if you are among the people who are electronically receiving a stimulus check, you are not dependent upon the push of the check from the IRS or dependent upon any other factor except one, who you bank with. Chime and Cash App have already confirmed receipt of funds and already released them to viewers of this channel, so congratulations. On Friday, about 100 plus viewers of this channel received the funds and already have them in hand. On Saturday morning, more than 100 additionally received the funds. Important things to understand are, one, the funds may come throughout the day. So you may not see electronic receipt at 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, but you may see it at 12 o'clock or 12 noon. You may see it at 2 o'clock. That's the first item. The second item that I've stressed a lot, I'm going to repeat it right now, is that who you are is not an equation as to whether you get a stimulus check or not. If your last name starts with the letter Z, it doesn't mean you're last to get a stimulus check. Or if you're in a state that starts with the letter A, it doesn't mean you're the first to get a stimulus check. If you're 65 years, it doesn't mean you're getting a stimulus check after a 14-year-old. There's nothing like that. It does not take into account your name, the alphabetical nature of your state. It does not take into equation the fact that maybe you're on benefits or not on benefits. None of these things are a factor. The only thing that's a major factor is who you do banking business with. This is what's going on. Banks did receive the funds on Friday. So some viewers, those banks already released the funds to them on Friday. Other banks released the funds this morning. Other banks released the funds midday today. More will release them later today. Other banks may release them on Monday. Then we have several major big banks that are saying we're not releasing them until January, excuse me, sorry to scare you there, March 17th this year, not next year, March 17th this year. Not particularly clear what that date means, why it's happening. No one has an answer for it. I don't know what's going on. It makes no sense. Ultimately, the most important thing to know is that if you receive your benefits monthly from the IRS on Social Security or veterans or SSI or SSDI electronically onto a debit card or onto a check, into a bank account, you're going to get this. You're going to get this electronic receipt. If you got your first or second stimulus check electronically, you're going to get this one as well. The last group is the one we simply don't have enough anecdotal stories about. Who is this last group? People who filed a 2020 tax return to update their electronic bank account information. Are they going to be able to get that updated because they did that? We really don't know. Here are some of the equations involved. One, if you filed a 2020 tax return early to get that information updated, but the 2020 tax return is still pending, it's not going to be enough. It's too late because it's still pending. They haven't seen the application. They haven't seen the 2020 return. If you file that 2020 return and it's not pending, it's processed, then there's a 50-50 chance. We don't know when the date became an issue, that if people file the 2020 return to update their tax return and their bank account information, that is sufficient. But across the land, there's a lot of other breaking developments, and those are multiple stimulus checks. In the recordings of Mornings LA today, you saw a major recording for 30 minutes to start about the stimulus check. Then the video right before this went over the other items in the third stimulus package. Now I want to go over what's happening for the fourth stimulus package. Yes, it's actually heating up this very moment. There's a heating up moment occurring for SSI, SSDI, reoccurring stimulus checks, FPUC, hazard pay, and now breaking this morning, an annual non-expiring child care tax credit. This child care tax credit is breaking news just this morning, so I'm going to go to it right away. Cory Booker, Democrat, New Jersey, wrote a letter last night urging that the $3,600 and the $3,000, otherwise known as the $5,000 and the $4,400 for children 17 to newborn, should not just be a one-time bit, but a lifetime change to the tax code. This is huge. I'd love to see your comments across the board. I certainly have comments about it. I don't necessarily agree with it. He thinks that children from 17 to newborn should always get this massive stimulus check of either $5,000 or $4,400 every year for the rest of their life. Yeah, it's hard to say it with a straight face. He doesn't ask for it for 2 more years or 1 more year. He just says indefinitely. That's as millions of Americans wonder why they aren't getting a $4,400 stimulus check when they're 18 to 65 years old. He wants to have children under the age of 17 to get stimulus checks of $5,000, $4,400 for the rest of their life every year. I got to report the news. I'm not making the news. This is what Cory Booker said. I try to help coordinate a full court press in America to take the child care tax credit and earn income tax credit, which is the $1,500, and make it permanent in the country. This is what he said during a press event. And who was in attendance at the press event? Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren was attended at the press conference where they talked about making stimulus checks for the rest of lifetime for children under the age of 17. Of course, one thing she could have said but didn't say in that press conference was, how about SSI and SSDI lifetime? Really quite interesting. But here we go. Bernie Sanders is among not 1, not 12, but nearly over 100 Democrats who have now told the President of the United States, guess what? We know you're doing a fourth stimulus package. We know you're working on it right now. And that $1,400 stimulus check will not be enough. He's saying that under the fourth stimulus package, we need reoccurring stimulus checks. Now, let me cut back and explain who's saying what. This is a biggie. This is a real biggie. 11 of 50 Democrats are the first group. And the second group is a massive amount of House Democrats. have written the President of the United States a letter saying very clearly, we are demanding that there's reoccurring stimulus checks in the next stimulus package. The key words are reoccurring and next stimulus package. How much? It would likely be about $2,000. How often? A monthly basis. How long? Likely to the end of this year. How big a push is this? It's the biggest push I have seen since this channel started. I have never seen so many people in both sides of the Congress, both House and Senate, of the same party telling the same leader that they're demanding this. Now, one of the messages I've been very clear about is that if that push stays where it is and they don't fold like lawn chairs, this may singularly be the biggest payout you will get for stimulus since this channel started. It will dwarf anything about SSI, it'll dwarf anything about FPUC, and it'll dwarf anything for hazard pay. Because it'll be so much money, it'll far exceed any of those other pushes you've had. So ultimately, while if you're watching this recording to wonder about the $2,400 of SSI, or the FPUC retro of $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 or $10,000 from 2020, or the $8,000 or $9,000 for hazard pay you were looking to get, this would be far bigger than that. So this is something you want to get behind. It's huge. It really is huge. Also, FPUC retro still is on the books as a big push among Democrats. Ron Wyden told viewers of this channel in the last few days that he will push for FPUC retro in the next stimulus package if you get him enough Democratic senators to push for it. And what else? That SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad Benefit Bill, is funded by a wealth tax bill. Elizabeth Warren, Democrat, Senate, when running for president, said that the $200 a month that she's proposing for SSI and SSDI would be funded by a wealth tax bill. Let's recap. When Elizabeth Warren was running for president, she came up with the idea of $200 a month on top of your SSI, SSDI, and Social Security and Railroad benefits. It was her idea. She created the idea. Also with it, an increase of benefits up to 20% lifetime. And finally, a new benchmark different than COLA, CPIE. It was all her idea. During the campaign for president, she was asked how she funded it. She said through a wealth tax bill. Well, how does that wealth tax bill work? Here is a video from Elizabeth Warren just recently explaining how the wealth tax bill in the United States would work.
So here's how it works. Anyone who has over $50 million in accumulated assets, your first $50 million is free and clear. Your 50 millionth and first dollar, you got to pitch in 2 cents. And 2 cents for every dollar after that. And a few more cents for every dollar of wealth over $1 billion. That's the basic idea that will generate $3 trillion over the next 10 years. Because here's the thing, you built a great fortune in America, good for you. All we're saying is, when you make it to the top of the top, to the top of the top of the top, pitch in 2 cents so everyone else gets a chance to make it in America. Inequalities in our economy have existed for a long time, and the COVID crisis has just made them worse. With $3 trillion generated from a wealth tax, we can help working families recover and improve their lives. We can make sure that women aren't knocked down.
And there is Elizabeth Warren's plan for the wealth tax bill. Last night, late in the afternoon, the President of the United States also addressed the country with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. And they spoke about the progress that they hope to see with this third stimulus package. Here's a video on yesterday's recording.
18. So thank you very much. Now, it's been a long and difficult year in America. We've lost so many in so short a time. But finally, hope is on the horizon and help is on the way. What do we say to America? We say to America, help is on the way. Help is on the way. You will receive your $1,400 checks in a few weeks. Help is on the way. People are being vaccinated more quickly and more effectively than we ever imagined. Help is on the way. Half the children in America will no longer be in poverty. And help is on the way. Our schools will open more quickly and more safely than anyone has ever thought. We Democrats made promises. We made promises in Georgia. We made promises in the country. We said if we gained the Senate, kept the House, and elected the president, we would finally get things done and get us out of this COVID crisis. And we are on the road to success. Help is on the way.
That was the latest message by Chuck Schumer yesterday. The question is whether that message is accurate. The President of the United States, reported by this channel first yesterday, is rolling out a new ad campaign across the country. And that new ad campaign will set the following path. A message that says basically that this White House delivered exactly, item by item, what it promised on the campaign trail. That press campaign will be going out in the airwaves and TV sets of Georgia, Atlanta, and elsewhere. And the question is whether that ad campaign is accurate. It's not. It will say that President Biden delivered exactly what he promised when running for president. He has not delivered on the SSI. He promised hazard pay. He has not delivered on that. He promised $600 a week of FPUC. He did not deliver on that either. And yet the ad campaign that Chuck Schumer is basically teeing up for will actually say that the president delivered item by item, dollar by dollar, exactly what he promised. Well, that's going back now to forced stimulus, because the people who are pushing for the reoccurring stimulus checks are actually saying exactly what I'm saying to you, is that the president did not deliver a $2,000 stimulus check. He delivered a $1,400 stimulus check. That he did not deliver FPUC retro, that he delivered FPUC at going forward and not even at $600 a week. He delivered at $300 a week. And he did not deliver SSI and SSDI as promised during his campaign or transition papers. So will this now come back to fruition in forced stimulus? Yes. Not to go negative, but to stay you informed that now the people that are in his own party who see that certain things were supposed to be delivered in the third stimulus package are saying, get ready for forced stimulus, because this is your opportunity to do it. Otherwise, we're not passing your next bill. What is that next bill? And how soon could you see forced stimulus? I have all those details coming up shortly, but first, here's a commercial break about today's programming schedule. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.la.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on Mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And we're back. It's a big day with exciting news across the land. As your $14 third stimulus check is landing in your bank account electronically today and tomorrow, and the excitement started yesterday as people started to see, well, I don't mean tomorrow, Monday, as people started to see the deposits arrive on Friday. But what's happening in forced stimulus? In this recording, we're going over forced stimulus. It's been a full day with a lot of details happening. The first show on Mornings LA went over the stimulus check. Everything about it. When, how, what date, what if it's not there, what if it's not a right amount. The second video on today's recording went over everything else in the stimulus package. Whether it's a child care's tax credits, $3,600 or $4,000, all those details. This recording's going over forced stimulus. And the important thing you need to understand is that suddenly Democrats, not just one, not just two, not just progressives, but moderate Democrats in both houses of Congress say, guess what? You want to do another bill, Mr. President, whether you call it an infrastructure bill or you call it a stimulus package, whether you call it a climate bill or you call it a earth and roads bill. They're all saying that bill, when it lands in the Congress, must have 1, reoccurring stimulus checks, 2, monthly. The amounts we don't know, but it's presumably $2,000, and it's presumably to the end of the pandemic. One of the messages you're going to hear later on this recording today, on this channel today, is that the Treasury yields are very high. The housing market is not doing well. Unemployment numbers have not improved. So by all accounts, while you saw that video from Chuck Schumer, it said, we're good, we're good, we're good. Yeah, you're good for vaccination numbers, but you're not good for this economy. The economy is not where it needs to be. And if it's not where it needs to be with unemployment, you're going to see forced stimulus. What is that forced stimulus and how soon? As early as next week. The president has already been working on his next package. It's an issue of contention what we call it, but we know what it's for. The president may talk about it as for purposes of climate, but it's for purposes of stimulus. He may talk about it as purposes of fixing the roads, it's for purposes of stimulus. If he talks about for generating new jobs, it's still stimulus. How do I translate it even simpler? These congressmen say that when you give us the bill, we're going to put these things in there. If you've been with me for a while, you know that in 2020, the HEROES Act from Nancy Pelosi was supposed to be a stimulus package bill, but had a lot of other stuff that had nothing to do with stimulus. It had salary raises for the Department of Copyrights and salary raises for the Department of Treasury, none of which actually eventually happened. So it is not unusual for congressmen to say a bill is for something, but it's really for something else. The great news as we go to the bottom of the hour is that you're going to get a $14 stimulus check. I'll have more about that on Noontime LA in your bank account. Number 2, you're going to qualify for about $5,000 to $10,000 of other money under the third stimulus package. I'll have that details as well. But the big one in this recording is that Democrats of the same party of the president, for whom he needs every single vote, as Chuck Schumer did this in that video with the hands and the clenched fists, we won the Senate. Well, guess what? Those senators will not give Chuck Schumer the vote of confidence again unless they get exactly what they want. And the push now is massive stimulus checks for the next stimulus package that will dwarf SSI of $2,400. It will be almost triple that amount, will match the amount of FPUC retro, and may exceed the amount that hazard pay ever would have been. That's all incredible great news. Purple Power, viewers of this channel, your push, your advocacy, and your support is now needed as the push for forced stimulus is already heating up. It heated up 2 weeks ago, and it's hitting the front burner right now. So subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, consider becoming a member, and become part of this family that pushes for the major stimulus. You're getting a stimulus check this weekend, but around the corner are more. Stay with me as Noontime LA rolls in and surfs in about 30 minutes. Big updates across the board as Noontime LA kicks up its feet on LALATE.